Another week in the book, another all-time high on the S&P and Nasdaq. This market remains unstoppable. Good evening and welcome to the PL Capital Market Review. I'm your host Paul. We're going to look at the S&P, the Nasdaq, some select stocks, and Bitcoin. So let's get started. As usual, we'll start with the upcoming economic calendar. And Tuesday and Wednesday, you do have Powell giving some testimony. I don't think that's going to matter a whole lot, what he's going to have to say. The big days will be Thursday and Friday. You got core inflation and the inflation rate and PPI then on Friday, along with consumer sentiment. Obviously, the big one will be inflation. Expectation, inflation goes from 3.3 down to 3.1. Core inflation remains flat. And PPI is supposed to just tick up a little bit from negative up to a tenth. So, but I think if these readings stay the same, 3.4, or if the inflation goes from 3.1 to 3.3 to 3.1, obviously I think markets are going to just continue to love how inflation is coming down. All right, let's get on to the charts. Going to start with the S&P. Another all-time high today. And I do not think that we are done. As long as this 5502 does not get broken, I think there's more up. I see this still as just a A, B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This turned out to be just a big WXY correction and pretty much straight up all week. So the next area to watch, I think down to 55.97, 55.79. Three-wave correction down into there, and I think could be looking for another bounce to go back up. So we're still from this low, the May low, looking for three waves. Now we do have three waves because we had that high in June, this correction, and now we went and broke it. So that's why not until 5502 is broken. I mean, this last wave here, you know, they could push that up, you know, as far as they want. So that's the key level to watch, 5502, and then I think this whole move up could be in for a correction, but not until that happens. Pressure remains upward. And when we look at the Nasdaq, this is the one that all I can see is more up. So on the Nasdaq, this was just an ABC, and then they never came and broke this low. Or on the S&P, you know, it turned into a WXY, and they broke that low. So I think they're making an ending diagonal here. So you had a WXY up, I think that's one, and then you had a WXY down correction. I think that's two, and 1, 2, and then straight up. Broke through the target for a third wave by how many? About 150 points or so. So I think that's three. So I'd be looking now, zoom in on this, be looking for, if this is three up here, and we don't even know if the three is done yet, but at some point, if they're going to be creating a ending diagonal, there should be a three-wave move, and as it stands right now, it should come down to like 23.23. Could come down even farther, 21.28. But I'd be looking for a three-wave move down to here. So then you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And the target for the fifth wave is up into this 2697, 2077 range. And then that will give us 5 waves, and then the market might be in a position where it's going to start correcting. So I don't see anything that says the top is in yet. And so that's why, you know, if the Nasdaq has got a 4 and a 5, if that plays out, then that's why I think the S&P is just going to be correcting, you know, maybe down into this range, maybe a little farther, but could be just a correction and still one more up for both of these. So yeah, I'm looking still for one more correction and still one more up. All right, so let's look at some individual stocks. AMD just caught fire here. Now this one, go out to a 2-hour. This one is still hard to read. We did have this little WXY correction here. Came right down into this zone. But the way it's been going, I mean, it's been really sideways for a very long time now. And I still feel like they're going to come back down to this 141 because they had an ABC up and then had this ABC down. And so far right now, you just have this 1, 2, and 3 ways. Now, they didn't break that 174 level, so I kind of expect them to have one more push up and break that. But then that would give you, you know, just 1, 2, and 3 waves. And it'd be at that point that if I was in AMD, I'm not, that I think, you know, this could just turn out to be like a big WXY correction, and then they'll come all the way back down, you know, somewhere farther into this purple zone. So now if price does get up into this blue zone, 86 to 194, it's possible that this WXY correction over here is all the correction and price is actually going all the way up to create a new high, because then will be looking like a diagonal to me. So that'll be 1, this ABC was 2, and then you have 1, 2, and then 3 would be up into this zone. So if price can really push above 174 and get into 86 to 94, then I might be, well, I will have to change my tune and think that correction is over, and I'd be favoring this to be a diagonal. It'd be 1, 2, 3, and then there will be a big 4 pullback. So if you miss it from right now, it should be coming almost right back to where we are right now for 4 before it goes and heads up for the 5th wave. So AMD right here is a tricky spot. You know, I think you already got to be in from somewhere lower, because like I said, this could just end up being WXY and then it rolls over. So yeah, tricky to trade this for right now, unless I see it pushing up into here. And then I think any 3-wave pullback would look really good, because that could be 4 and then you're going up for 5. All right, let's look at Apple. They just keep creating new highs. So, been following me. I've been thinking that they're going to make a running flat here. And this ABC, I thought that was going to be, like, this is all the B wave. I thought this ABC was ABC down. That was the B wave, and then I was looking for a 5-wave move, which I gave. And I thought that, you know, that could be ABC, and then potential that Apple really sells off to create the C wave of this really big ABC. But they didn't do that. So I'm taking this off because this is I don't believe going to be valid. Not unless I see that level break, 164, because it looks very much like they're making a diagonal here. So ABC, I think that was 1. This was 2. And now they're 1, 2, and I don't think this is done yet. So it's 3 ways, but I don't think it's done. So when we drill in, because all there is after this correction is really just 1, 2, 3 waves, and there needs to be 5. So I think Apple will pretty soon be giving you a correction, not a big one. Oops. And then still back up for more. And I think they'll be targeting then 239, could go up to 257. And that would be, the third wave target. And then you're going to get a big correction down for 4 and then still back up for 5. If this diagonal that I see plays out, 1, 2, this is 3, you get a 4. So if you're not in, I'd wait for this 4 pullback, because you'll get it cheaper than where we are right now. Unless this third wave really takes off and they're like up into the 260 range. But most likely if the third wave ends in this blue box area, this fourth wave should be underneath where we are right now. So you could play for a little bit of a bounce. How much more up is there? 5% to the target. If you're lucky, then maybe they go higher. So yeah, a couple of ways to play Apple, but yeah, I'd still be looking for buys on Apple. It looks good. Do have some divergence building, but like I said, I don't see that this is this wave up from the June 24th low. I don't think that wave is done yet. So I think they'll be pushing up, and then there'll probably won't be any divergence when that wave ends. Okay, let's look at Freeport. Freeport also starting to look good. I don't know that it's going to come down here like I thought. This let me drill in. This ABC up here, that might be all the correction, because there is no divergence on this last piece up, 1, 2, and 3. And then now they've hit target, so I'd be expecting like some type of pullback and then continuation up. So this very well could be a like an ABC. This was 1, what they did on Friday. And now they're going to give a 3-wave pullback for 2, and then they'll be going back up for 3, 4, and 5 to take out 55.24. Now, obviously, if they come and break 47.70, that invalidates a diagonal going up. So you could have a stop loss there, but I still think Freeport's a buy no matter what. This is just going to be a correction. Even if they come and break 46, it'll be just an ABC. So a couple ways you could play this, just leg in slowly on this, or wait for a pullback. But yeah, I'd still only be looking for buys on Freeport. It's looking good. All right, let's look at Microsoft. So Microsoft, to me, definitely looks like they are making an ending diagonal. We've had this 1, 2, 3 ways for the 1. Here's 3 ways down for 2. This is there's like a little correction here. So that I'm kind of thinking that this could be 3, could be in. But we don't have any indication of that. It's not clear that there are 3 waves. They did already hit the target for the 3rd wave. And so if 468 is the high for the 3, 4 should be coming down to like 443, maybe even lower. But just like everything, you get any 3-wave pullback, especially a pullback that deep or that big, really, I think it needs to be bought because it for sure looks like this is going to be a diagonal going up. So I'm expecting a pullback, just like I'm seeing in the Nasdaq. And Microsoft looks like it's got one more to complete 5th wave of the 5th wave. So it looks good. But I think you got to wait for the pullback. All right, NVIDIA. NVIDIA now does not look very strong here going up unless they're making a very, very slow push. You know, this was pretty sharp, 3-wave move down. And they didn't really reach this 115 target that I've had for a while. And this just looks very corrective. I mean, just it shot up, but then it gave you this big 1, 2, 3 wave down. And then we do have like a 1, 2, and a 3 wave up. So it's either a WXY and now it's going to come down, or maybe this will be 1, 2, 3. This will be 4, and they'll go back up one more time for the C wave. You know, then it'd be like an A, B, C, and then it's going to correct. But NVIDIA actually, you know, it's not making a new all-time high like the indexes are doing. So NVIDIA, I think, is finally making a correction. But I'd still only want to be in the buy for NVIDIA because I think if you can get it at 115, I think that is a great place for NVIDIA to go up for its 3rd wave. It'd be the 5th of the 5th of the 3rd. But yeah, I have a feeling like this is going to be coming down because this just looks very sideways, very correctionally, and I think it's got one more. So I'd wait on NVIDIA, but I think if you can get it down in here somewhere in the purple, that would be a great place. Tesla. All right, so Tesla taking off like a rocket. And there's really only 2 patterns that I see that are playing out now. I mean, we're getting really close to breaking that. Where is it? Come on. Breaking that 299 high, which is very significant because then that kind of eliminates going all the way down to 101. So I see A, B, C, and then we had that A, B, C. So I'm really looking at this like they're going up in a diagonal. So you got a 1, you got a 2, and now they're working their way up for 3. And then the way they're working their way up, there's only 2 patterns that I see. So one is this, as I've been saying. I think this is just 1, 2, 3. That could be 1. This WXY, that's 2. You had this quick correction and then just taking off. Blew right through the 3rd wave target. So this could be 3 up here, but it almost looks like it's not even done. So I think they're going up in a diagonal. 1, 2, 3 should be ending pretty soon. And then you're going to come down for 4 and then go back up for 5. That's my base case for Tesla. It looks really strong. There's obviously no divergence. It's just super, super overbought. But when I drill in on it, it looks very much like you got this running flat here, and so I'm thinking that it's actually not even done. So like this is like a 1-2, and then you got this like 1-2, and then they came close to breaking that high, but I think it's still actually got like a 4, finish the third wave, go for 4, and still go up for a fifth wave here. So I think Tesla still has more to go. So then these numbers over here, 219, and those will be moving up accordingly as price breaks through that 252 level, and then gives a bigger correction. So yeah, if you're in Tesla, stay with it. If not, I think you got to wait for this bigger 4-wave pullback. The other pattern that could be playing out is, instead of that being 1 and this being 2, is that this is like an A, and then this is a B, and then this is all, because it's so strong, it could be a C wave, like A, B, C. And then all that tells me is that you're going to have a bigger correction down, A, B, C. It'll probably blow through this like 199 level, because then all of this could be just the first wave, and then you get a bigger 2. It could even fall down farther, but it would be a much bigger correction than where this 4 potentially is. So this next correction will, I think, help us figure out what this is. This could be ABC that they're finishing, and then we're going to get a big ABC down before it reverses up and goes up for the third wave. So either way, I that's why I'd only want to be buying Tesla after there's some type of correction. Either it's going to come down into this zone in 3 waves for the 4 and then reverse hard for 5, or it'll probably be coming down underneath 199 into the low 90s, 80s or something, and then reverse up. So yeah, if you're in it, stay. But if you're not, I think any decent sized correction is very viable. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin. All right, so they finally, let's go out to a daily, finally completed this diagonal down. So we got our 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like the 5 could be in, but this was so sharp, very sharp. And there is, when I drill in, there is this, it had this leading diagonal, and then there was this little correction here, and it almost, I could count, like if they made like an expanding diagonal, expanding ending diagonal, like it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I can get 3 waves, but it was just so sharp of a sell-off. I'm wondering if this isn't maybe just the A wave, and now they're going to give a B wave. And I do see 5 microwaves up into 57,000 here, and then they gave this little 3-wave correction. Now it's starting to go back up. So it's very likely that, or not likely, but possible that this was the A wave that they set, 53,499. They'll give a 3-wave for a B, and then they'll come down one more time, grab some stop losses, and then this is the 3 waves for the 5th wave. But I don't see that this, if they do come all the way back down and break 53,499, I don't see it like going to 50,000. I mean, it'll probably just break it, maybe $500 or $1,000 below it. But yeah, I don't see it going super far. They've already gone far enough for this 5th wave. They broke that 3rd wave level. They broke the previous 5th wave level. So, maybe they'll target down right at the bottom here. This 50, was that 51,600 or so. But yeah, I'd only be looking for buy setups. And actually, if Bitcoin were to reverse, it would have to reverse from where it is right now. But if you could get it in this 54.8, 55.2 area, because then that'd be a nice three-wave correction. That's a good buy. And then once it breaks 57, you just have to figure if you want to like take partial profit or all profit, because it very well could be got one more low to make before this ends. As it stands right now, the next key area to watch will be the 62 to 64 region, because we don't know what this is. Right now, it's just a zigzag pattern, 5, 3, 5. But this could be turning into something much bigger. If they want to take Bitcoin real low, this could be 1, and then this is 2, and then this is just the first wave of the third wave if they're going to make an impulse. So then I would expect a correction up into here for 2, and then they'll come down for 3, 4, and 5, and this will just be the third wave. Then you have 1, 2, and 3. So that's why this area will be key. Now this area is going to change if they come and break this low once again. So we'll have to see. But as it stands right now, you do have 3 waves in a zigzag pattern right into this zone. So after this 5 waves up, you got a 3 wave. It could be all the correction, and now Bitcoin's going to go and take out the high. So that's the bullish case, is that, all right, this 3 wave zigzag is just, you're in ABC, and now Bitcoin marches up. But like I said, this could also be just the beginning of a more down to come, because this diagonal, we don't know if it's a leading or an ending diagonal. If it's an ending diagonal, then it's probably A, B, and then this ending diagonal is the C wave. And now you go and take out the high. But if it's a leading diagonal, then you're going to get a 3 wave. Then it's like a 1, and you get a 2, and then you'll get a 3, a 4, and a 5, because it'll have to end in 5 waves, because we started with 5. So yeah, so first we got to see if 5 is in yet. Does 53,499 hold? The higher this pushes up, gets, especially if it gets above 58, I think 60, then I'll feel like the 5 is in. But if they just push up a little, get above 57, break that high, I think they might be coming down one more time, and then we'll just have to readjust these numbers. So yeah, I'd only be looking for buy setups on Bitcoin, and it just depends on your risk tolerance. You could buy somewhere in here and hope that it's going all the way up, or just hold it, because the 5 might just not be quite in yet, and then it'll be given at least a 3 wave healthy correction up, and that'd be a pretty decent trade. Because what is that? Let's say they come all the way down one more time. Yeah, you should be able to get at least like 15%, even if they're going to correct from down here, and then they're still going to go down for the third wave. That would be a 15% bounce. So that's why I only want to be playing for the buy setups. Might be temporary, but you should be able to get decent profit. All right, that's what I see on the markets. Hope it helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your likes and support. See you in the next video.